Hello everybody, Disciple here with Overwatch Curios. You guys have loved the last few Grandmaster Tricks videos where a diamond scrub like me teams up with my Grandmaster friends to give you guys the lowdown on the top 1%. Currently, Soldier 76 is by far the best offensive hero in the game and is a staple of pretty much any team composition in the current meta. There are some PTR nerfs to Ana, Roadhog, and D.Va, but Soldier has been left alone at the moment, meaning that he'll still be an incredibly strong pick for a little while. In order to bring your Soldier 76 game to the next level, I worked with my friend Riot to give you guys as many tips as possible. Although you might know some of these, what sets the top players apart is that they can do them consistently every game. If you can pick up even a few new techniques, that might be what you need to carry yourself out of elo hell using Soldier 76. We're going to start with some of the more general tips and get more specific as we move on. To begin, I want to give you guys the #1 rule for Soldier 76. Always be shooting. The reason you pick Soldier is for consistent DPS, and there's almost no reason you can't be doing that constantly. If you see an enemy, you should be shooting at him, and at the very least you can always be hitting a Reinhardt shield or D.Va mech to help bring it down. As Soldier, you should pretty much always have gold damage, since your primary fire is so reliable and long range. Even if you don't have a particularly clear shot, or aren't able to get a premium target, you lose out on almost nothing by shooting anyway. The times you shouldn't be shooting are when you're setting up for a flank on the enemy team or repositioning to shoot a better target. While flanking, shooting would reveal your position to the enemy team and leave you open and vulnerable, while at other times you may need to sprint to reposition quickly and lose your ability to fire then. Speaking of positioning, try and always look for the high ground. There are a huge number of advantages to taking high ground over your opponents. Your view of the enemy is less obscured, you have the headshot advantage, you can more easily fire at airborne targets, and you can choose whether to engage or disengage a fight much more effectively. One of the coolest things about Soldier is his ability to rocket jump with his alternate fire to take shortcuts and reach locations that many other characters can't. We've made a video detailing many of the spots Soldier can reach on Hanamura, Watchpoint Gibraltar, King's Row, and Temple of Anubis, and we have plans to make more detailing the other jump spots you can reach as well, so we won't get into it too specifically in this video. Once you've positioned yourself effectively and taken the high ground, remember to always fire in bursts while at a medium to long range. Soldier 76 develops a spread on the 4th round of his fire, so the shots afterwards will be far less accurate. At close ranges or against larger targets, this doesn't matter as much since the majority of the bullets will land anyway. However, at longer range it can mean that a large portion of your shots miss, especially on a difficult target like Pharah. Instead, fire in 3 to 5 round bursts, stopping very briefly to let the spread reset, and then fire again. This will make you much more accurate at long ranges and allow you to deal a lot more consistent damage. To help you manage your bursts and spread, make sure that you have bloom turned on under controls, and use a reticle that allows you to show that bloom. This will help you see visually when and how large your spread becomes and determine whether or not you need to burst fire or if you can shoot continuously. Again, the larger the target, the longer range you can continuously fire, so against a D.Va mech or a Reinhardt shield, you're probably a bit safer at a farther range. As Soldier 76, you can help out your healers a lot more than any other DPS can. The first thing you need to do is turn on allied health bars under controls, since this isn't activated by default. This will allow you to see the health bars of all your allies through walls, and will in particular allow you to notice when a healer is being attacked. Try and use your Biotic Field to heal or save your healers, since keeping them alive will keep you alive as well. Mercy, Zenyatta, and Lucio all heal themselves rather slowly, and Ana can only heal herself with a grenade, while your heal can restore them to full health incredibly quickly, allowing them to heal you in return. Whichever team loses their healers first will likely lose the fight, so running to your Mercy to save her from the Genji, Tracer, or Sombra flanking your team is absolutely huge. If you don't do this, then that's one less Resurrect, Sound Barrier, or Nano Boost for your team to receive in the next fight. Soldier's high burst damage from headshots and his Helix Rocket allow him to duel very effectively, so don't be afraid to go toe-to-toe with flankers. In a 1v1 fight or skirmish situation, always drop your Biotic Field as soon as possible. It lasts for long enough that you should be able to kill your opponent during its duration, and dropping it during the fight stops your DPS for a short time. If you can't kill your opponent before your Biotic Field times out, then your aim is likely the issue. Remember that while headshots are very beneficial for Soldier, it's incredibly difficult to get them consistently after continuous fire because of the spread. The first 4 shots should land on the head fairly easily, but when continuously firing, try and aim at the center of the body so the spread will still hit in the body or the head when it does go off center. Typically in a 1v1, you'll want to aim your Helix Rocket at your target's feet. The damage from it is too high to risk losing it by missing your opponent, and since most good players will be strafing, you can't rely on hitting every Helix Rocket directly. While shooting at their feet, you have the possibility of a direct hit while also benefiting from the splash damage if you don't get it. If your opponent is jumping or falling, aim the Helix Rocket at where they're going to land, since their horizontal movement is much more limited while they're airborne and they won't be able to dodge it. When you're up against a Genji, try and wait until he uses his double jump, then shoot your rocket where he's going to land. Otherwise, he may try and bait out your rocket on his first jump and then dodge it entirely with his second. Although some heroes like McCree are better built for 1v1 skirmishes, Soldier is incredibly strong as well once you learn how to play him effectively. His Helix Rocket should allow you to take out any single target, and you should be able to score multiple solo kills throughout every game. Although Soldier's main strength is consistent DPS on all targets, never rule out his ability to assassinate a target or come out on top of a skirmish. Dealing damage to the enemy team doesn't really matter until you kill them, so make sure that you're able to identify low health and priority targets and take them out. This is where Soldier is far more effective than someone like Pharah or Junkrat, who deal indiscriminate damage and have very little control over their DPS and struggle in taking out a single target. One technique you should pick up is to make a priority list in your head of the enemy heroes, so that when you have the option to shoot multiple targets, you can always pick the right one. Does the enemy team have a Zenyatta support? Zenyatta is one of the easiest targets for you to take out, and getting rid of his orbs as well as the possibility for him to ult would be huge for your team. Additionally, if you know an enemy player has an ult, or you can estimate that they do based on how long since they used their last one, try and take them out before they can even cast it. Pharah can get a lot of damage off at the beginning of her ult, especially if it takes you time to locate her and fire at her, but if you continuously focus Pharah, then you can kill her before she even gets the chance to position for it. Remember to always hit tab to check your enemy's team composition and reevaluate your priority targets. If someone switches off of a Pharah to Widowmaker, then you may have to play much more differently than you were just a minute before. Soldier works in pretty much any team composition, but he synergizes specifically well with a few heroes. If you've got a Roadhog on your team, keep a very close eye on his hooks. Roadhog can have difficulty landing one-shots on any hero, but if his team helps to focus the hook target, then it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. Fire your Helix Rocket to where the victim is going to be pulled, and then shoot in a quick burst, and you'll almost always be able to nail a kill off of a Roadhog hook, even if he can't get it himself. If you have an Ana on your team, try and save your ult to use in combination with a Nano Boost. Communicate with your Ana when your ult will be ready, and that you want to use them together. A Soldier with Nano Boost can easily wipe out an entire team, as long as he ults from a safe position, and the enemy team can't hide behind a Reinhardt shield or a defense matrix. Overall, ulting as Soldier 76 can actually be a little tricky. It seems like a very straightforward ability, and it's fairly easy to use in practice, but the setup is what makes or breaks it. If the enemy team is positioned behind a Reinhardt shield, then using your ultimate will be a huge waste in most cases. The amount of time it takes to break the shield will likely result in you getting no kills, while you could have just shot at the shield without burning your ultimate. Likewise, D.Va can completely shut you down with a good defense matrix. Communicate with your team that you need to break the shields and mech before using your ultimate, and in most cases you'll be able to desuit the D.Va before going all out on the enemy team. If it's not quite that easy though, there are a few different methods you can use. If your own team has a D.Va, you can use your ults together very effectively to negate the enemy Reinhardt shield. Tell your D.Va to send her Self-Destruct behind the enemy team and then use your ultimate. The Reinhardt will be forced to turn and shield his team from the 1000 damage burst, allowing you to freely fire on his team without the shield. Another half measure you can take is to wait for the enemy Reinhardt or D.Va to charge away from their team. If you ult the moment that you see them going on to another target, you'll get a lot of free time shooting onto their unprotected back line. Finally, one of the riskiest but most rewarding moves you can do with Soldier is to flank with his ultimate. If you make their backline supports and DPS your closest targets, while their tanks are up dealing with your team, you can tear through them pretty easily. Finding good flank routes can be tricky, but we'll try and show you guys some of the best spots in our map tricks video. Another way to help yourself is to watch high-level Soldier 76 players stream and see where they choose to flank from. Flanking is pretty risky since you can be isolated and taken out fairly easily if the enemy team spots you, but if you can take them by surprise, you could win the fight single-handedly for your team. The way to climb in this game is by consistently making plays that win fights for your team, so that eventually you can come out on top of the match. And once you learn enough about Soldier 76's playstyle, then it should be pretty easy to outshine the DPS on the opposing team at your skill rating. Although many people make jokes about Soldier 76 being an easy hero, there's a lot of complexity in his skirmishing and positioning. He's definitely one of the easiest DPS heroes in terms of aiming and overall kit, but to use him to his maximum effectiveness, there are a lot of small things to keep in mind. Hopefully this video helped teach you guys a few of those things and can help bring your Soldier 76 game to the next level and gain a bit of skill rating for yourselves. Let us know what hero you'd like to see Grandmaster tricks from next, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. This has been Disciple with Overwatch Curios, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.